What was your second point?
And the second point is that over time, universities have become more of a trade school where you go there to get certain skills because, like jobs, CEOs come to university and like, listen, we need these skills. But universities in the past was more of a place to where you go to learn how to think, not necessarily to get certain skills. Maybe universities don't have to be one or the other. They could be both. But from what we've seen is that universities have become more of a you learn this specific thing because of X job. Should universities go down, or like should these universities should go down that path of more specific skills or more of a
Well, I'm not going to agree with you on that because
okay
I think universities for a long time, ever since universities were created hundreds of years ago, has been about making sure people have the ability to think, and and that's why you have very strong philosophy departments, et cetera, et cetera. But the job market and the industrial age, and I think in everything, the industrial age and all the other ages that follow, now the technology age, has kind of driven people more into specific kind of skill set. And that's why you pursuing a degree in engineering. And you're pursuing, I don't know if you guys are mechanical or whatever, but the job force and the interest of the individual is what drives the pursuit. And so the notion of universities having been this place where you come into to get some generalized training hasn't been that way for a number of years. But let me just tell you what this university does that I think does it at scale and better than most places. Because if you look at how we go about pursuing our research excellence, it's structured traditionally across 16 different colleges, where students can decide to come in and major in something and minor in something else. But at the same time, the reason we're sitting in this facility today is because a guy named Tom Siebel had the great vision of being one of the first self-directed multidisciplinary educational experiences. Tom has degrees across 3 different platforms, business being one of them. And he did that intentionally. And so the Siebel Center for Design is all about design thinking. And how do you get students to think more broadly about their educational experience? And we are one of the few places that our research agenda is structured that way because in addition to the 16 colleges, we have 10 interdisciplinary institutes that are what I call the connective tissues across those 10 colleges, or those 16 colleges, because it's that multidisciplinary approach to problem solving is the kind of educational experience that the workforce is demanding. Nobody is really interested in somebody to come in that only knows the technical side of electrical or mechanical engineering and don't have the perspective of the integration across the humanities and the social sciences in order to solve a problem. And so more and more what we're contemplating in this university is how do you leverage the expertise that we have in problem solving through the structure of 16 colleges, 10 multidisciplinary institutes. We're one of the best places in the country, if not the world, in using multidisciplinary approaches to solve and find solutions to complex problems. We don't just look narrowly at one particular discipline. So the biggest challenge we have now is trying to figure out how do you do that across the educational experience at the undergraduate level, for example. How do we make sure, and I think this is the other side of your question, how do we make sure that we're producing undergraduate students who know how to think critically? How do they benefit from a place like Siebel Center for Design? And how do we make sure that their educational experience reflects that multidisciplinary approach that has been so successful on the research enterprise? How do we now, it works, we already have it at the graduate level and professional level. How do we do it at the undergraduate level? And I can tell you the university will be the first one to crack that complex structure is one that is going to be at the cutting edge, and we're planning on it being us to be the one to figure that out. Some smaller institutions have done it because they are smaller scale, There's not another place of this scope and scale that's figured out how to do that, and we're embarking upon a process to try to figure it out. Because it's the way, I predict, history will tell, in the next 10, 20 years, multidisciplinary degree programs are going to be the norm, as well as upskilling and reskilling to meet the workforce demand that don't require a college degree is going to be what higher education institutions are going to be known for. That's going to be the general framework of how they try to carry out that mission. Not everybody is going to be able to do it, but places that are situated like Urbana-Champaign is best prepared, I think, to deliver on the type of education that's going to be necessary to not only meet the workforce needs of society, but to solve complex challenges as well as meet the individual needs of those that decides to pursue a degree or skill set after finishing high school.